Yo, what is good everyone? DB Zoom back at you with a brand new video. So guys, a few days ago I asked you which video would you like to see posted on my YouTube via my community board here on YouTube, and I gave you guys three options. You guys voted for this video, an updated SP tier list, that is. I will be using this game press tier list as a foundation. I am going to be shifting some stuff around and describing why I would definitely switch some stuff around here. Besides that, guys, really quick, I am also hosting a tournament. It's going to be live today at 2 p.m. Pacific time on my Twitch. Every link is below if you guys want to go to my Twitch. It's DB Zoom. It's the same thing here. And it's going to be the selections. It's going to be the selections for the tournament. So this video is not about that, but if you guys want to tune in at 2 p.m. Pacific time on my Twitch, go check that out today. But yeah, guys, let's just get right into the tier list. So what I'm gonna do, guys, this is the tier list here. This is Z tier. This is S tier. As you guys can see, I'm gonna scroll it very briefly. This is tier 1, and this is the rest of the tiers here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be shifting some stuff around, but I'm only gonna cover the first 3 tiers, and I'm gonna go over briefly the rest. Just because, why would I cover PyCon? Why would I cover, I mean, you get me, you know? So I'm not going to waste my time covering all of those units. But we're going to head into Z tier. So let's kick things off with the one and only Vegeta Blue, okay? So, I mean, do I really need to describe why this character is first place? I mean, there's really no explanation here, guys, because it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to start off with this, okay? The main thing I like about this unit is whenever he switches in, and this ability activates twice. He uses a strike card, he basically gains another strike card. He uses another strike card, he gains another strike card. So it's just kind of like an infinite combo where you don't really need card draw speed, because this guy never draws. I mean, this guy has an unlimited card draw speed due to the fact that every time he switches in, this resets, right? So it only activates twice, but you really only need to activate it twice. Anything more than that would be absolutely broken. So that's one of the main things I love about this Vegeta Blue, guys. And another thing, I mean, I can pretty much name out his whole kit because he can do everything, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to make this video nice, sharp, and sweet so it doesn't take too long. So really quick, guys, so this guy, his main ability, obviously we know he gets his ultimate, which is the highest dealing ultimate in the whole game. I mean, it's no question. So you do if you're a red unit right now, guys, this character, I mean, he pretty much pushed down all red units out of the meta. I mean, I'll go over the red units here. I mean, there's barely any red units. If you scroll down, there might be some more down the lower you go, and they're lower because of this guy. So his main ability, he also gains ki, so he can definitely combo in anything he has along with his ultimate and pretty much TKO you in one hit, right? So this character is by far the best character in the whole game. He also heals and he does a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to go ahead and read his kit. His stats are off the charts, obviously. He pretty much, he stacks up to a level 7 Zenkai unit. He really does. I mean, he pairs up with a level 7 Zenkai unit, so. And he also does a extra, I think, 30% damage against Fusion Warriors, okay? The reason why this is so good is because Fusion Warriors is being run with this guy. So it kind of limits Fusion Warriors to some certain degree. If that makes any sense. Because Fusion Warriors includes this guy. So if you were to have this guy and another this guy, right, versus each other, they do extra damage versus each other. So it kind of somewhat limits Fusion Warrior, which I'm glad to see to some certain extent. But then again, there's more Fusion Warriors because of him. But this guy fits into 3 teams. He fits into God Key, he fits into Fusions, and as well as Future. So, and if you really want to be creative, you can make a Saiyan team, but that really wouldn't make any sense synchronized wise. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to give a more spiel about this guy. This guy's definitely Z tier by far. Alright, so let's move on to Kid Goku. This right here, guys, this is based off his level 7 Zenkai. Okay, so let me get that straight. So this is not level 1, 2, 3. No, this is level 7 Zenkai right here, okay? He is a free-to-play unit. Too bad I only got him to level 5. I know, not even level 6. It's kind of sad. Just because I was really busy at the time with PvP, ranking at a certain really high rank. And then I never really, I don't know. But yeah, so this guy... This guy can pretty much do anything. Z tier only has 4 units, and there's a reason why, because these units can pretty much do anything. They fall into the meta really well. So he is a free-to-play unit, and he's all the way up here. So this is the stuff I like to see, guys, from the game. So this guy, he can pretty much, he has endurance, okay? So that's one of the best things you can give a unit in the whole game. Endurance, pretty much, as you guys know, kind of like the red Zamasu and stuff like that, the green Vegeta and other units. They can survive a Rising Rush or a full power Frieza. So they can survive a Rising Rush, and that's, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, one of the scariest things you can give a unit, because anything you could tank a Rising Rush with, and you take that away from your opponent. Rising Rush sometimes is a make or break for a game, and I'm sure you guys know that. And he also heals. He has amazing strike damage, really good strike damage. He fits really well into Saiyans, which is obviously always going to be around because it's a Dragon Ball game. Yellow is a really good color to be right now because of this guy. So Blue Vegito, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, he pretty much scares away all the red units. You do not want to bring in red unit right now during this meta. Red units are going to be out of the meta for a solid amount of time, guys. I can't tell you enough how many times I put Shenron on my Regen team, and I really want to bring in Shenron, but I run into this team and I'm like, nope, not going to do that. So what that makes it is that this guy's pretty much safe from red units for a majority of the time. Sometimes they don't even bring a red unit in their team. So and this guy could, like I said, he can heal his health. He has a really good damaging ultimate. He does extra damage to Regen, which is always good. And another thing about this guy, he also has health. Vegeta Blue also he blocks off health restoration for like people like Zenkai Buu and stuff like that, which is amazing. But I'll get into Zenkai Buu in a bit, which is very very a different take I have on Regen still on the meta. So I have a really interesting take on that. So Fusamasu, he's amazing. He's amazing. He I never really thought there would be a unit that does everything as well, but he heals. Right now, okay, let me start off with this. He's tanky and he can do a lot of damage, right? So let's start off with the damage. So he gets an extra buff. I think it's let me double check. He gets, I think, 10-20%. I think 20%, right? So yeah. So no, my bad. He gets, every time he gets hit, he gets a certain percentage due to his blast. He gets all characters Samasu. No. Okay. Oh, there we go. Here it is. So he gains 20% buff inflicted damage for each time he gets hit, or actually applies the effect to self when the enemy's attack is over. So technically, yeah. And this could stack up. So every time he gets hit, he gets a 20% buff, and it can stack up to 80%, which makes him an absolute monster. So there's that. And so he could cover change as well, as you guys can see him go back. He definitely cover changes. There we go. Reduces by 40% when the combo ends. 40% is a significant amount, guys. And as well as him being tanky, as you guys can see, up to 80%. And as well as he knocks enemies back on strike cards, right? Which is always good because it minimizes their combos and stuff like that. And as well as he can heal. He can heal by 20%, gain ki by 40%, which is always great. And his ultimate does a ton amount of damage. Not to mention the fact that it looks amazing. So, so there's that. Green Vegeta, he went up on the tier list. So far looking good. I'm not switching in really anything here. I'm just giving my takes on why they're here. I am going to be giving a quick gist of it, and I should be running through this video a little bit quicker because there's a lot of units to go through. So Green Vegeta pairs perfectly, and I mean perfectly, along with Vegito Blue, just because two reasons. He goes with two different teams on him, right? He goes either on Future or on God Ki. Vegeta Blue. He my favorite thing about Vegeta Blue, honestly, is the fact that he, whatchamacallit, his combos, he's a really good combo extender. I mean, and as well as he fights off Vegeta Blue, right? Because he's green. So green units right now are in the, if you have a favorite green unit, they just got, I think, buffed, right? Because you're always going to probably, you run into this Vegito maybe 80% of the time, right? I would say 80% of the time you literally run into this Vegito. If you don't have a good green unit, you're pretty much done. You need a green unit to stop this Vegito, which is why I still think Zenkai Buu and Regen actually got buffed instead of nerfed, if that makes any sense. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And I'll also get into that in another video of team tiers as well. So So this Vegeta right here, he has his ultimate which can lock you in. So sometimes you can just land one combo, pop his main ability, and you can lock him in, or any blue unit for the matter of fact, and then pretty much annihilate him potentially in one hit, I would say, right? So there's that. And this guy, he has a really good combo extender. Every time he uses a combo, I think it's -5 to his -5, right? So it's -3 to his own arts cards. So let's just say you string in 3 combos or 4 combos. That's -12, right? And you could keep on getting that and getting that and getting that and getting that. And as well as, I think he has card draw speed by 2. If he uses main ability, he has card draw speed by 2 plus 50 key. So this guy is always going to be one of my favorite units. He really is. Sometimes I even wonder if I should even use my level 7 Zenkai Beers over this guy. But that's kind of a ridiculous statement to make. But yeah, there's that, guys. This is Z tier right here. I would leave this tier as it is. So let's just get right into the bottom tier. So for S tier, we have here Super Raise Trunks, the new one. To be quite frank with you guys, I haven't really used this unit too much yet, just yet, because we're still early in the anniversary. I have ran into him a couple of times. I'm going to start off with this. He's super tanky. You can run him alongside Vegeta Blue, which is really scary, and this team right here, right? So you can run with Vegeta Blue, because they're both future, and then this guy right here, which is extremely tanky. So you have 2 very offensive units here, and then you have an absolute tank here, which also tanks rising rushes a majority of the time, right? Because this guy's a straight up machine tank, right? So, and he's also an offensive tank as well whenever he gets hit, and we can see here why. So let's just pop this in really quick just to show you guys. And his ultimate does a ton of damage as well, guys. So really quick, let's see. He also does 20% to regeneration, which is always great. So regeneration is getting kind of beat up this meta in some sorts of way, but I still think they kind of got buffed in another aspect of the aspect of the meta, because of Vegeta Blue and Zenkai Blue, and it's a really strong counter Zenkai Blue to Vegeta Blue. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. 20% damage inflicted to God Key. So God Key obviously is meta right now, so you definitely need this in your team, especially if you're running future. That'd be a really good counter to Vegeta Blue. So because you also have Vegeta Blue as well. So, and then here it's damage received plus 20 time counts. When this guy just enters the battlefield, he gets a 20% buff, and he reduces 30% damage when cover changing as well. So there's that. And here he gets also whenever he gets hit with anything, pretty much he gets a 10% damage inflicted, cannot be canceled, up to 60%. So technically in one combo, or in this meta, sometimes you get hit 6 times, he automatically gets a 60% combo. Yeah, so he automatically gets a 60% buff, which is crazy. And as well as if we check his blast cards, because sometimes yeah, there we go. This is his blast card, guys. This is very significant on top of the 60% buff and on top of the 20% buff just for entering the field. So that's 80% buffs. And when you cover change too. So really well in the meta. And now it gets a little bit tricky because now I can start moving some stuff around. So for this SP Vegito, he's a scary unit, man. I mean, every unit in this meta, to be really honest with you guys, all these units automatically just take you out left and right. They're so offensive. So it all started with this kind of with this Vegito, super transforming Vegito, right? And then it went to Kefla, and then it went to even gold tanks, the red gold tanks. And then now we have him, of course. And yeah, so it could get kind of scary. And fusion is definitely still in the meta, although this guy counters fusions. So this guy's yellow. Yellow is a really good place to be in right now because, like I mentioned, you don't really bring in reds too much due to the fact that there's Vegeta Blues floating around. So you still do bring in reds, but not as much. So there's this guy. He can transform. He could gain his whole hand back. His super does a ton of damage. He pretty much does everything. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to give brief descriptions of why these characters should be there. This guy, like I said, he transformed. He's an automatic beast. He gets a cover change. Or he gets a, not a cover change. He gets a damage reduction. So his main ability restores ki by 50, Vanish Gouge by 100, gets a special move arts cards next. That's really phenomenal. His special move is really low all the time because it's -5. Every time this character uses a strike or blast card. So sometimes it might even be around the 30s. So which is really great. And he also restores ki for just vanishing a step. So, and also increases draw card speed by 1. This guy's phenomenal. I mean, I don't want to drag this on too long. This guy's great. Kefla, do I really need an explanation for Kefla? I would probably leave her as it is, or maybe even, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave her as it is just because she's green, and greens are really valuable in the meta right now. Obviously, Kefla is Kefla. She strings in combos left and right, and yeah, that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave that at. She's really damage. Like, she can TKO a majority of the characters for a long time. So, and her his strike card gains buffs each time she uses a strike card, and plus her card draw speed and all that jibba jabba. You guys understand. I'm sorry, I'm really not a Kefla fan because I don't like fighting against Keflas personally. So, okay, so here's where I'm gonna switch. This Android 21, I would pull it up here in replace of the Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku, the green one. Due to the fact that she's really good, guys. Her strike damage is off the chart. She's basically like a Kefla, right? She's like a Kefla, but in an annoying team, right? She counters Kefla number 1, but that's not how we judge things here. So purple is also very valuable in the meta, just because it's like a chain, right? Purple is very valuable because I always find myself bringing in purple, green and purple. Green you bring in because of Vegeta blue, so you know your opponent. Majority of the time, this guy's involved, right? Vegeta blue. So sometimes you do have to bring in a green unit a majority of the time because Vegeta blue's involved. And when green's involved, purple is going to be involved to counter this, right? So purple and green are both really well in the meta right now. I think specifically you do need a good purple and a good green. So, and she heals with her green. She transforms. She does phenomenal damage. She gains a strike card each time she comes in. She has card draw speed. Her super does a ton of damage. So I would place her up here. These two Super Saiyan 4 Gokus, they're kind of mirrored and not mirrored at the same time. This full power Goku is very blast orientated, and this guy is very strike based. So, like I said, purple and green, they're both in the meta right now. GT is a very good team. It really is. I think it always flies under the radar, just because of the likes of the shadows of other teams that are out right now in terms of sheer power. This guy here, he gains ki like no other. He comes in, he gains ki, switches, you gain ki. And you can also run him alongside Zenkai Kid Goku, assuming you guys have him level 7 Zenkai. And this, I mean, yeah, and he also has a really, his super, he locks you in, so you could literally end somebody's career like that. I've been locked in, like, you literally hit him once, and you think you're going to switch because you don't want to get that second combo hit, and then they just go in straight for the super and they lock you in. This guy right here, I haven't used him too much just yet because I just haven't just yet, even though I have him. Let's really quick. His green card, I know his green card has blast armor. He also has a very high dealing damage ulti. The only thing I don't like about him is that his ulti does not. So basically, his ulti does not give him ki, which is not good, but it does give him, I mean, his ulti, his main ability does not give him ki, so he can't sometimes chain as much stuff as he'd like to his ultimate, but it does give you card draw speed and blast damage plus 30% and inflicted damage plus 20%, which is fine. He also restores ki. If you combine him with the other Goku, there's ki going around everywhere, as you guys can see. Restores ki by 50%, reduces damage received by 45% for 10 timer counts, applies the following effects when this character enters the battlefield if there's the same battle member other than this character. So there's ki all around. Ki is never an issue with GT or Saiyan team, to be really honest with you guys. His blast cards are through the roof. You do not want to get hit by these blast cards, although I don't think blast cards are very optimal, even though they are. I just don't think they are, in my opinion. So I'm going to leave it at that. Shenron, I feel bad for Shenron. I really do. He's a great character. He's got a great kit. The only reason why I would maybe... So here I would... So here I would get the Zenkai Buu. I would pull up the Zenkai Buu because of his potential. I would post him up here. So this Android 21 would be up here. And then I would probably put Zenkai Buu up here. And then the Super Saiyan 4s would go up here. So I'll get to Zenkai Buu in a little bit. For Shenron, I feel bad for Shenron because he's a red unit. You do not want to be a red unit right now in the meta. I mean, it's going to be the case for a little bit. And as well as that, he's a fusion warrior. So, and this guy does 30% damage to fusion warrior. So sometimes I really want to bring in Shenron, but then I see this guy, I'm like, nope, I cannot bring in Shenron at all. Otherwise, I'm going to get destroyed in literally 2 cards. 2 cards, maybe 3 cards, something like that. Guaranteed destroys Shenron. because of not only color advantage, but as well as that fusion buff Vegeta Blue gets. But this guy's kit's phenomenal, guys. He gains a Dragon Ball just when he gets in. His ultimate does crazy damage, and as well as does damage to your team, to your enemy's teammates. This guy, he also gains 10% buff per Dragon Ball, which is really cool actually. Per Dragon Ball you have on the field. I have him at 7 stars. I love him. I love him. He really goes under the radar, but I don't use him as much as I would like to. Just mainly because of Vegeta Blue, right? So this guy, I would fit him into Regen, which I do. He buffs Regen, I think at 3 stars, and then double buffs at 6 stars. So I use him at Regen. I also, you can use him in GT, of course, but I think Shadow Dragons will be coming out very soon. Kind of like the Ginyu Force, the X Ginyu Force event, but Shadow Dragons. So I think he's going to be very optimal at the time. So there's that. Super Vegito, this guy. It's been 1 year, guys. It's been 1 year since this purple Super Vegito has been around. This guy, I'm a fan of him. He obviously still fits in perfectly into fusions, like this perfect color wheel right here, into fusions. He still does a crazy amount of damage. He cover changes, he heals, he does all this good stuff. I would push him a little bit more down. I mean, obviously this has been pushed up, like I said, so this is technically more down. I would actually push him above Shenron just because of the colors. I would do that. There's a lot of people that love Shenron, even me, but the fact that if Vegeta Blue didn't exist, I would push Shenron more up. So Omega Shenron more up. So this Vegeta Blue, I mean this Super Vegeta, I don't need to explain why this guy, what he does, because he's been around for a year. So you guys know what he does. So I mean he strings in combos that could be very damaging in terms of all his buffs after he gets his cards. This is where it gets interesting for me because I love Regen and I think they got buffed. Okay, so let me get into this really quick with you guys. Baby, I don't bring him in on Regen. My Regen team is Zenkai Buu, Android 21, Evil, right? We got Baby, we got Shenron in there, we got X-Nail for the bench, and we got Perfect Cell, which I am going to be talking about, which is still really good, the best well-aged unit in the whole game. So, I think that specifically, these 2 units right here should be boosted up wherever in this tier list. Doesn't matter. Maybe like around here somewhere, along with this Android 21. Maybe like around here. I think this team automatically. So I run a level 7 Zenkai Buu, right? I went on a 30 game winning streak, 20 game winning streak last night, due to the fact that I run into this guy all the time. And guess who counters this guy? This guy. This guy counters this guy, right? And as well as you sometimes run into Kefla alongside this guy, a green unit, right? And then I have Android 21 to completely annihilate her. So I think this team actually got buffed. Even though everything is killing his health restoration, I still think this guy got buffed. I locked Vegeta Blue in. He completely takes half his bar guaranteed, if not more, 75% per lock-in. Because he also does extra damage to Saiyans, and on top of every other buff he gets. Yeah, so actually, you know what? Scratch this. I would push this guy all the way up here. Maybe up here, right? Zenkai Buu. And Baby could kind of go up here somewhere, because I don't really bring in Baby. I usually bring in Yellow to cover this guy's. To cover this guy, because everybody's going to be using a purple, so then I bring in Yellow and Purple to bring in to counter their green, and Green to counter their blue. So that's kind of where the meta is going right now. Green, Purple, Yellow, Blue, obviously, because if only you have this guy. So that's it. If you don't really bring in another blue besides this guy. So green, Purple is in the meta. Yellow is down there as well, and then obviously Red just got absolutely annihilated. So Rose is actually one of the most underrated units in the whole game. I love how his main ability, he can definitely nullify color advantage. So color advantage is not an issue for like 20 timer counts. He also nullifies a whole bunch of stuff from your team, and this guy just, you know what, his damage is very well put together as well. Just for coming in the field, I think he gets buffs. He fits really perfectly into God Key as well. Obviously, Future alongside Vegeta Blue, this guy and stuff like that, good stuff like that. This Trunks as well for Future. So this guy fits in the meta in terms of team-wise, and he's really damage outputting. His ultimate does a lot of damage. Yeah, he's very underrated. That's what I'm going to say with that. Hero Shallot, Super Saiyan 3. Unless he's Super Saiyan 3, if he's Hero, he gets completely annihilated. He's like one of the most useless units in the game. But as soon as he goes Super Saiyan 3 and you have a well put together Saiyan team, his strike damage could literally almost TKO you. There's really no bad thing about just where he places in the meta, just because he's the neutral. So people can't counter him, right? Unless there's a new thing that's going to come out later on. But people really can't counter him in terms of just sheer counters, right? But unless it's Zenkai Buu, because Zenkai Buu does more damage to Saiyans or Frieza and stuff like that. But that's just about it. I'm talking about color-wise. He doesn't get countered. So I'm going to leave that at that. He gets a God form very soon, guys. Look forward to that. I think he's going to get buffed even more. But I'm really curious to see where that's going to land. This Gold Tanks, I'm going to leave him right here. I'm going to leave him right here. He's great for fusions, obviously. But you really don't bring in red much anymore at all, right? You just don't, because... of course, Vegeta Blue. This guy is like, he's never hit the meta. He's going to be around for a long time. I mean, this Vegeta, Super Vegeta, is already out for a long time. Imagine the other one, so the Vegeta Blue. So that's going to be pretty crazy. So this guy, he obviously does a lot of damage, strings in a whole bunch of combos, goes Super Saiyan 3, completely annihilates you. But red is not really a color you want to bring in now. So I'll leave him here. Maybe even bring him down a little bit here. But you know what? I'll leave him there. This Goku, besides... He does everything besides his defense is kind of lackluster. Very, very weak defense. He goes really well into Saiyan Team, right? Saiyan Teams is still very optimal. And he heals his team with his ultimate and stuff like that. So he's a very good ally to leave. I'll leave it at that, okay? This Piccolo, I use him, but I'll tell you what. I use Perfect Cell on my Regen over this Piccolo. My Perfect Cell is like 3 red stars, which is great. This guy's only at 2 stars. So in terms of tag, you do need him a little bit more stars, maybe at least 3 stars. He has very good blast damage. He has cover change. He has a crazy amount of damage as soon as he transforms, and he hits you with that super, right? You pop in that green card. He has a good green card. He automatically draws a special arts card twice, and then plus that, I think like 70% damage inflicted buff or something crazy like that. So this guy's great. This guy's great. I mean, he's a weird character because he's supposed to be running Regen, but for some reason, I feel like in the meta, I still run Perfect Cell, guys. Because Perfect Cell, he's all the way down, which I would also bring him. Perfect Cell is not even in tier 1. He's in tier 2. I would bring a Perfect Cell up to tier 1. I really would, because I use him alongside my Zenkai Buu regularly. Perfect Cell still has great strike damage. He really does. He locks in your opponent's card just by going in the field due to his unique ability. You can literally have him on the side for the longest time just to negate your opponent's Rising Rush because of his rescue. So just anything that could kind of delay a Rising Rush or save yourself from a Rising Rush is really meta. He does crazy strike damage. His ultimate does a ton of damage still, which is crazy. The best, and he faints as well. The best by far, the best, and he has a good green card. The best aged unit as well, and I would put him up here tier 1. I don't care what anybody says. He's really good. I would put him up here anywhere around this area. So for Beerus is a great unit as well. This is obviously tier 1. If this is Zenkai 1, if it would be any higher, he'd go all the way up. If this is Zenkai 1, I would push him down. If this is Zenkai 1, I wouldn't really use him. I would push him down like down here somewhere. If this is Zenkai 1. What? Frieza's down here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would push him down here. This SP cooler Zenkai 1, obviously. I will leave him just there. You know, Zenkai 1 isn't too crazy, but tier 1, it's not too crazy either, so he's in a good spot. We all know what he does, right? We all know what he does. He fits into a really good Lineage of Evil team. If it's level 7 Zenkai cooler, I would also push him all the way up, so that's not the case here though. But let's run it through quick. Free to play Goku. This guy's extremely tanky. You could get him maxed out 14 stars if you really sold your life for that. He's really good. Really good. Good strike damage. He fits in perfectly into Saiyan teams as well, so I'm going to leave it at that. This Yellow Gohan's been around for a long time. He transforms, locks you in. You know the shebaj with this guy, right? He's really good with movie teams. Yellow's not a bad place to be in right now. You can still even run movies. Movies is still very optimal. It's that people have other shiny objects to look at, like new characters and stuff like that. But this team is really good still. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He can lock you in. His green card is great, so I don't really need to explain much on that. This Bardock, I would probably push a little bit more down because you would run him on Saiyan, but you wouldn't really run him over this guy maybe because you need to transform with this guy. So this guy, I would debunk him a little bit down here somewhere because you do need to transform with him to be optimal. But once you do, he's an absolute monster. But then again, he's a red unit, so red units are now very optimal in this meta. SP Cooler, I would probably push him up here, the purple Cooler. He's a great tanky unit. you run him alongside Zenkai, Cooler, and full power Frieza, and you got yourself one of the best teams in the game. So I'll definitely put him up here, and he can also pretty much do everything. He can heal his health, very, very tanky, and yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Full power Frieza, one of the best aging units as well. He's been around. He came out last August, I believe. So it's about to be a full year in 2 months since he's came out. He's still really great. Very tanky unit. Endurance. Endurance is what you're looking for in a unit. Yellows are pretty solid in the meta right now. He's got a great main ability that throws pizzas at your face. And he's got a good green card that could combo you with that. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but he's a very good defensive unit, and that's what you need. And that's the kind of units I like personally, with endurance and stuff like that. So this guy, all right, so it gets a little bit tricky now because the meta starts dropping off right after this. I would say this is the line where the meta starts dropping off, right? If you can even make another tier list here, I would. So that's where I would draw the line. I would put Cell up here, perfect Cell. But this is where I would draw the line. So let's go over these units, and then I'm not going to really go over the other units because I don't want to make the video too long. I've already been on for 30 minutes, so let's wrap this up as quick as possible, right? For what? SP Goku, Namegoku is down here? No, I would push him up here. So I would push Namegoku up here, right? I got to see this whole list to see where's where. I'll push Namegoku up here because he's still very damage outputting. You can definitely still run him in Saiyans. Last man standing, he's one of the scariest units in the game. His blue card is still very, very cheap. People forget that. Very good blast damage. I would put Namegoku here. This Broly, you can run him in movies, I guess. Frieza Force, I guess. He's really good for farming Dragon Balls. Very underrated. Not really. I've used him before. He's a really solid unit, so I'll leave him. I'll push him a little bit more down. I would put SP Namegoku here. I would bring up this Frieza, Ella Frieza here, because I wouldn't really use Ella Frieza instead of Cooler. That's just a personal taste, though. Some might disagree, and I can see why. So, full power Bojack, I'll leave him up here, of course. I would bring these two units down here. These two units down here one more time, right? And these two units I would replace up here. That's what I would do. Bojack is Bojack. Cover change, one of the most annoying things in the game. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that in the game again. Unless it's really far down the line until he's power crept. So yeah, he's perfectly well into movies. Purples are still in the meta, obviously, because they're like the third unit you need to bring in, because people bring in green for Vegeta blue, and that's usually the case. And then this is a good green counter. So greens are in the meta, and this is obviously a green counter, so I'll leave him at that. And he also has great strike damage. And then here I would say is where it starts dropping off again. Heat Dome Trunks, solid on, I guess. You wouldn't really run him in future. I mean, future you just run Rose, so you wouldn't really run him in future. Hybrids you'd run him in, but hybrids is so lackluster, so I don't even know. This you would run him in future. He's still really good. This guy I would replace these two. This guy is still really good. He's a purple unit. Purple units are still great. This guy's really underrated. You can do some crazy damage with this guy. You really can. This SP Trunks. Sen Shenron. Endurance. He has endurance. I forget about that. You run him in a GT team. He's really good. I would probably even push him up here above these two. I would. Sen Shenron. Yeah, so he's like the piece of the puzzle for GT, I'd say. He's got endurance, and that's something you always look for in a character. And then down here, I already told you this guy would go up. Blue Vegeta would also go up a little bit. Actually, this is just fine. I would probably push him. I mean, it's not much of a push, but I would push him up here. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Besides his transformation limitations, he does crazy amount of damage for 30 seconds, so that's great. Fits into God Key if you need to bring in a yellow unit, of course. And that's pretty much all it is with this guy. He's got pretty good strike damage, phenomenal strike damage actually. I don't like his ability single buffing though, only strike attack, but that's what it is. So SP Blue 21, she's a farmable unit, or was. Hopefully she comes back. She's great for a few more warriors, androids obviously, but those two are not in the meta. You could even pop her into Regen, but you wouldn't really run her over Super Baby or Baby Vegeta, right? So you wouldn't really run her there. So this Vegeta, I always liked this Vegeta. I always liked his ultimate, but too bad he fell off really quick because he's red, and reds are falling off really fast. I would even push. Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave him here. You don't really use him in GT anymore because of Omega Shenron. You'd probably just use Omega Shenron over him. That's just my take on that. And then Green Frieza, still really good against Saiyans. Still really good blast damage, really good main ability that gets you ki, and that ultimate that also does damage to your allies. So, and also Saiyans as well. So I'll leave everything here, guys. This is the explanation I gave you of all these characters here. I still think Zenkai Buu and Regen got buffed. The rest of the units, I'll slowly scroll by. Janemba I'll probably push up, obviously. This guy I would push up. Oh, actually, these 4 units I would push up. Oh my god. Actually, I'm just seeing this right now. These 4 units that I'm circling right now, Perfect Cell, Janemba, Red Janemba, and these 2 characters here, I would definitely just push up to tier 1. I'll do it. And maybe even this Rasengan Goku, right? I would do it. So I would, wherever they might be, they're tier 1, right? I would not leave them tier 2. I would not leave them tier 2. That's just a personal taste, though. This guy could definitely fall off a lot more because you have Zenkai Buu, so he's pretty much irrelevant. Everything else, I'll leave it here. I clicked on that by accident. I'll leave it here. I'll scroll through it very slowly so you guys can see. There's this. I'll probably even push up this LF Goku just a tad because he's too low. He's just too low. Let's see. This Raditz I'll probably push up more. Hit I'll probably push up a little bit more. This guy I still think he's gonna get a Zenkai. Yeah, everything seems to be in place here. Everything seems to be in place here. Nothing too crazy. Oh, this guy, I would now leave him tier 3. I would now leave this free-to-play Vegeta tier 3. The fact that he can lock you in and he's super tanky should at least be a tier 2. At least. That's just my opinion, though, right? Same thing with Kid Buu. Kid Buu could get pushed up just a tier 2 because it's a disrespect for tier 3, even though he's not that good, but yeah. Everything else is I would push up more to tier 2 because Future is definitely in the meta again, so I'll push her up. Everything else seems to be here as it should. This blue Super Saiyan Bardock supposedly is getting hinted at a Zenkai just because he's in the exchange shop for 7 SP medals. So we'll see. This guy I would push up to tier 3 because he does a lot of damage. He's still very relevant, believe it or not. Let's see. Everything seems to be in place here. This guy obviously he has one of the best Z abilities for God Key, so there's that. Everything seems to be in place here so far. And I'm not gonna touch. we all know this guy's gonna skyrocket up as soon as he gets a Zenkai. So we'll leave him there for now because he hasn't got a Zenkai just yet. Just a couple more days, and everything else is here. Majin Vegeta supposedly got hinted at a Zenkai because Toshi took a picture of that whole campaign going on, and yeah, he's supposedly in the Zenkai in the picture, which is hinted supposedly at a Zenkai, which I would love to see. So everything else is here. Boom, that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll probably catch you guys tomorrow with more videos, maybe a level 6 Vegeta Blue showcase along a level 7 Zenkai Beerus showcase, maybe. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, peace.